Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today I'm going to work on my Lapbook. I have never done a Lapbook, and I thought I would do the steampunk journal that I'm wanting to do and just make it into a Lapbook form. I'm really curious about how to do that. I'm just going to kind of make it up as I go along. I'm going to make it like a 6-inch wide and a 9.5 tall. Yeah, and then we'll just work it out from there. Okay, so here is the sneaky peek. Let me get in here and see what I got to show you. Okay, this one is about, I guess it's about, I'm going through my my uncles, in other words, my dad's brothers. And this one here is Uncle Bill. And he was in the war. It was said that he had been in 3 tanks that blew up, and he survived all of them. And then he gets back over here to Virginia, and he's moving his family. And he's in a truck that has a door that won't latch quite accurately. So he's backing up. He leans on it, falls out. Yeah, the truck goes over him. It was really, really sad. And this is his white military stone. I think he was in, like, I think this picture here is where, I think he was in the cavalry at first. Nobody really knows if that's who this is, but that looks like Bill right there. So they think that this is his picture when he was in the cavalry. And then he went into, I guess, the tanks or something. This was the Fighting Tigers. That was his patch. You can actually make it out right here on his, and it's, reversed. So he was the Fighting Tigers. Yeah, I said he started out in the cavalry, and then when they disbanded, he went into the 10th Armed Division. He served under General Patton and served 3 tanks blowing up while he was inside them. And then this here, I'm not sure what I'm trying to tell myself. Probably something else to put in here. I have this picture that was from a store that used to be down and around Sanger's Lane or something. But it's got all the old advertisements and stuff on the front. And this is him with the guitar. I think this was a couple of the cousins, these 3, and they were picking on this poor guy here. I don't know why. This is when he visited home, and you can see him with his hat and all. And my Uncle Robert went in not long after. I know Uncle Howard served as well, and this is their cousin John L. He also served. So it was like everybody served. D-Bus Place, not Franklin Hill. Oh, I was supposed to be correcting what I put down for this. Dad must have corrected me on that or something. And then this was an interview with Uncle Harrison in 1993. He said Bill went into the Army in the 40s, or early 41. He went in before the war started. He joined in the spring and started in December. He went through basics in Georgia, and during this time, Uncle Harrison thinks he met Josephine Hawks, his wife. After basics, he was stationed at Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. He was part of the cavalry on the horses. They disbanded, and they went into the 10th Armored Division. He was under General Patton. Josephine was 16 when they married in 1942. She lived in Chattanooga. Let's see, what was it? With her dad, Lawrence Hawks. She lived with her dad, Lawrence Hawks, and her stepmother. Now, there was an interesting thing about Lawrence Hawks. He was a 7th son of a 7th son. Have you ever heard of that? They're supposed to have magical abilities and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I ever heard anything about that, but that was kind of interesting. And then when Bill was in the Army, Joe, his wife, would stay with my grandma Rhoda Harrison and my dad. at Buffalo Gap. And let's see. Joe bought Uncle Harrison a bike at the B.F. Goodrich on Central Street in Stanton. He used it to ride to the store and back to get groceries. Harrison was 12 years old and Dad was 6. They used to fight over it. Dad was just learning to ride. Bill had left a 1934 Pontiac behind when he left for overseas. It sat still while he was gone. The motor stuck. They put kerosene in it to start it up. It was sold to Jim Pokey Markham. Harrison remembers Joe when little Larry went to see her folks in Tennessee. Harrison went along to help watch little Larry. Joe stayed for a while with her folks, and Uncle Harrison rode back on the bus alone. Bill got 3 years. Okay. I think that's more about how he got killed and everything. But this is my Aunt Grandma Rhoda right here with her picture with him. I mean, I've got a picture with her with almost every one of her children. Sometimes she's with 2 of them with the baby, and then the one that was right before that, and stuff like that. I love finding photos like this. But he was her 5th child and 2nd son. He's born 1917. This was a negative that we had that was like a 3x4. And it was really, really tough and really, really dark sepia toned. It was interesting. I'd never seen a negative like that before. Okay, so that's all we're going to look at today. Now we're going to get into the main thing. Okay, so how we're going to do this, I'm going to start off with some of these old file folders. And I like this shade because this is the one that you can ink up really nicely. Because I wanted to have a sort of a sepia tone and a dark kind of edging on it because it'll go with the browns that's in this kit here. And I'm going to be using this, the Voyages Fantastiques Stamperia. And I've got a little pile of goodies here that I was sent or given. And I'm going to be working those onto the pages themselves. I'm just going to work them in. I'm just going to do whatever I feel like. I've got teals in it, so that works with this. I've got a little bit of blue, but I don't think that would hurt. I don't know what this is. It's actually like a little book here. So it could be I make a little notebook. Oh, there's a train. That's pretty. To work into this. So that's what all that is. Oh, I made this on the full deck challenge. And figured I could tuck it in somewhere. There's more. Look at that cat. That's a cool cat. What else I got down in here? I got a few pockets and things. Oh, I made that as well on a challenge somewhere. I can't even remember. I really like her. She's so pretty. And then I've got another beautiful lady here that looks like that. So I'll be taking all of these elements and trying to work them into the Lapbook in some way. So what we want to look at is, you know, what I've got here and what I could work with. A lot of these backgrounds aren't worth crap, so it doesn't matter. I figure I'll take a lot of these on this front and maybe make tags out of them, because I've got a few of the main elements on here that are interesting. And then I've got the journal cards here. And then this is something that can be cut up in some way to go on different panels. I've got that same background again. This I'm trying to figure out whether I could do something where it's on the inside. After, I think with a Lapbook, it's closed like a regular book. It sets up on the spine and you open it like double doors. So I'm thinking of this on that double door area where they can meet up. And then I've got some kind of a map sort of a thing there. And then this, I'm thinking I can cut that up in certain ways to decorate different panels. There's not much on the back of these to really think that you're wasting anything. I love the train because the train will go with my cover, you know. And then we have a bunch of tags. And This here, it's got like a map sort of a thing on the back side. So I'm trying to debate whether I want to use some of this, especially with the gears. I kind of like this where I've got the little train, but I'll be cutting a lot of these up and just kind of intermingling them into the actual overall look. Now this one's really interesting because it's also got the words and stuff on the back like a dictionary. So I got to debate how I want to approach this, whether I just want to not worry about this and go for this or what. And this is what I'm going to use on the cover right here, because let me pull it over here. As you can see, my cover has these beautiful kind of coppery hints to it. And I thought, well, you know, I needed to make my cover 6 by 9.5. So I needed a little bit of extra. So, and it's got a little bit of a greeny tinge, which also is in this background because I put that teal behind it, remember? And I've got it here as well, so they would kind of blend in with the actual rest of the book here. So I think that goes together really well. So that will be my background for my cover. All right. Now we got to figure out what we want to do for the cover. I'm sure I'm going to just do a little bit each day, and we'll work through it. Like this one, I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do to put it together. Try to throw my pencil away. My Walmart pencil at that. All right. So this is already got a pre-made spine in it. And I'm going to leave it at whatever that size of the spine is. Good grief. Okay. There we go. So let me get something to rub it down with. And then this one's already got a good bend to it. Now, if you wanted to, you could get in here and put you some extra strengtheners, like some extra washi tape or something like that. I need to see if I've got something that's going to spread that wide, or even doesn't have to spread that wide. It could just go over the seam. And so then we're going to want to do this at about 6 inches. All right. Well, let me go up to... Trying to think if I can incorporate this tab here, but it may not be. Let's see. Could be that I fold that tab in. How about that? So I figured I wanted this to be about 6 inches. So there's 6 inches. And then if whatever size that is, what is that? Not the 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch. So, I think that's 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so if that's 6, and then this is 3/4 right there. Because what I'm doing is, if this is going to fold in, is that right? On each side, I want a spine here that's going to be 3/4. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so see what I'm doing? Like when this gets scored and everything, and you have a 3/4 inch, and it folds in to this side, I've got a 3/4 inch spine. And then when I do the same thing to this side, it's a 3/4 inch. And it's going to fold up and be flush. So it'll be like this. Okay, yeah. Told you I haven't done this before, but I've seen other people doing it. So we're just going to go up here to this side, do the same thing. Let me do it this way. I need it to only be 9 3/4 tall. Okay, there's that. There's my 3/4. And then I'm going to go ahead and find out where 9 1/2 tall is. You can always add stuff to this, so just leave places for you to have a place to glue something down before you cover it. And that's the best way to go about this. Now this side, I got to do the same. we're going to find where the 3/4 needs to be. There's the 6. There's the 3/4. Go up here and do the same thing. 6, and then 3/4. And then I got to go up and do my 9.5. There was something I looked at here that made me go from, instead of 9 to 9.5. I can't remember what it was. Alright, so let's go across here. Get this chopped down. I've been working on my report for Stone Coal some more. And interestingly enough, I found some deeds. I've been hunting around. I know I had some deeds somewhere around here about when my grandparents, owned that land over there on Stone Coal. So I finally found it. And it's kind of interesting because they had, I don't think I'd really need to do a pencil line here. I probably just need to do a score line. They had sold it to an Ellen Duncan. But then when you get a deed, it's really interesting because it actually tells you who owned it before that. It kind of like gives you a path of I was going to say aggression, but that's wrong. Regression. I think that's the right one. But yeah, you can follow a deed back if you do it that way. And it'll just go back in time. Now, definitely the top part here is getting cut off. So let's just go ahead and cut that, get that out of our way, because I only want it to be 9.5 tall. And if you got any old file folders, this is a way of getting rid of them. Use them up. Because I got these other two here that's also going to come in handy as flip ups. I have maybe different kind of waterfall elements that are going to be in here. I'm trying to think of all the different things I want to do. Now keep these pieces like this because you may need them. They could come in handy for something. You just never know. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to score these two places here on each side. Okay, I have these scored here and scored here. Now this part here I want to cut off. I'm going to keep that tab up there and see if I can work it into the elements that I'm going to be working with, but this other one just isn't going to do anything for me, so we're going to get rid of it. So let's see if I can cut it down like this. And you can get in here and do some rounding if you need to. I think I am, because I want my corners and stuff to be rounded. Although, I don't know, that's right, I don't know what I'm actually going to do with each of these, because once I have this folded over, it's probably going to be something here that's going to attach my main cover pieces. That's going to be on the inside of this. So let's just see if we can, let's get this out of the way so you can see something. And we're going to get in here and we're going to make these score lines go backward. Like that and like that. Okay. So see, I've got that in this position, but I wanted to have like the two pieces that are going to fold backward. So this could be on the inside of them or the outside. And I think it's going to be on the inside. Same with this side here. So let's get this folded. Then we'll get to doing those pieces that I'm going to need put here. I don't know if anybody else wants to follow along with me. I'm going to be bumping and weaving my way along here. Okay, so we've got that. Now, what I'm going to do is take this other one here, and each of these pieces that's going to be on the inside, it's going to be something like 6 inches. And they're going to be cut apart. Let's see. They're going to be about 6 inches across. Let's just start at this mark right here. And go from there to here. But I do need to have some kind of an attachment of sorts. But I think that will come in the way of this little panel here on either side. I'll just glue that down to where that's a tuck spot. So I think we're good the way this is. So let's go ahead and go up, and then it has to be 9.5 tall. Mark it there. Mark it here. Okay. So I'm going to take this over and get a little trimming done on my cutter. Okay, so here we go. We got our 2 pieces cut. That doesn't matter that that has staples on it. It should be hidden. Now, what I wanted to do is put, I could just do it this way so it's hidden, is to glue this down right along this edge, that long edge in there. And then it's going to be my front, and I didn't cut it quite right, did I? I'm probably going to have to go in here and trim a lot of things down, because something is not quite right there. I might have to cut me another one and save these for something else. Although, yeah. Let me do that again. Okay, I had to get in here and tweak this one because it was almost too big. So I'm still not quite right though. You really have to measure with this. But I can always trim it down. You have to just make sure that these panels are within this panel here. They might even need to be cut down a little bit more. But yeah, that's what you have to concentrate on. Now, this will actually go on the outside like this. And that's where that big clock is going to go that you saw. Now, you also may want to have a panel that will also flip out from this one. And I might want that as well. So you'll have a tuck spot here, and then you'll have like 3 flips coming out from here. All right, so here are 2 of my scraps, and I'm going to use them for my hinges. And I've got those other 2 pieces I had just previously cut. I'm bringing them back in. So let's go ahead and glue the 2 hinges down to here, and then we'll glue it to this other piece. All right. So we're just going to do like this and glue it all down. Yeah, but on stone coal. Now, the first house was the house of Jacob Markham and Rhoda Spaulding. And they had quite a few kids, at least a dozen. You know, it's not uncommon back then. So what happened was that after a while, you know, as the children grew up, a lot of them took different portions of the creek to live on. And as it so happens, where my grandparents lived was the place where their son Fleming Spaulding Markham used as his farm. He had, I don't know, about 85 acres, I guess, because that's what's coming up on my grandparents' deeds. So they had about 85 acres, probably did farming. Back then, you never had all of those trees and stuff that you see nowadays. The trees were not there. They had all of that land for farming and raising livestock and living off the land and doing what they needed to do. So I've been slowly piecing that together. Only problem is I don't have a deed for a lot of these different places. And it's not giving me enough information on some of the deeds to kind of pinpoint where that they lived. I mean, I like to go by the the creeks. Now, they're talking about a branch in this one, and I'm trying to think what the branch is that they're talking about. I mean, it can't be the creek itself, because they've already mentioned it, and they would call it a creek, not a branch. A branch is a little bit smaller, and usually it's possibly coming from a spring, a ground-fed spring, something like that. All right, where this is going to go over top of here, this, I'm thinking, can like be like this and be glued down that way. So let's look into that. I can actually glue these together before I even figure out how I want to put them on here. I just want to make sure that I get them flush where I need them to be. Now remember, all these are going to be covered up, even if, you know, you can get in here and ink after you get everything assembled, so you get your edges done correctly. But you will have a lot of all of this covered with your papers, scrapbook papers, whatever you're going to use, so it won't be seen. So I've been having a little bit of fun with that. So I've been trying to work on that a little bit each day. Oh my goodness. Got something else to tell you. Okay. So we had to get our taxes done. So we used to get it at a Jackson Hewitt, I guess it is, down here in Stanton. And they're gone now. They closed a bunch of their shops up. Well, we get it at Jackson Hewitt because he gets discount for Walmart, you know, get the taxes done. So he's trying to find another one. And the closest one we could find is up in Lexington, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away. It was at the Walmart, one of those little booths, you know, they have. So he makes an appointment for Tuesday at 5. I had to go meet him at work, and then we both drove up together to the Jackson Hewitt booth. Well, we get there. We're a little early, 15 minutes maybe. So we're sitting around playing on our phones, that kind of stuff. Well, 5 o'clock comes, nobody's there. 5:15, nobody's there. We're getting so mad. I mean, he's tired. He didn't need to be driving. He had to drive because I got a slow leak in my tire from coming back home from West Virginia. So I got to get that taken care of, and I was afraid to drive that far away. So anyhow, I left a scathing review. And he tried to text, he texted somebody saying, we're here, where is the associate that's supposed to be helping us? He's a little nicer than me. So they call us after we're 10 minutes down the road. And something about she didn't even look to see if there was anybody on the schedule for that afternoon. Something about the person couldn't make it, yada yada. So anyhow, I'm still gonna have to. I feel like I need to cut these down just a little bit, so I'll do that. This side. Okay. Now this one's a little longer. So anyhow, she reschedules us to the next day. So we go ahead and tell her. I also had to go by the DMV to get my license renewed because it was going out on the 22nd, my birthday. So I had to get that done. Little did I know, they had a section or a place on there about medicine. And I didn't realize that the gabapentin was going to be an issue because I guess it would impair your driving, but only if you're just now taking it. I mean, freshly taking it. After a week, your body gets used to it. But anyway, I don't know. So they had to make note that I took gabapentin. That's for my feet, you know, where they aggravate me at night. So that was, yeah, that was interesting. I don't know if my mom's going to have to deal with that when she goes to renew her license, if she even bothers. She makes me take her everywhere. except when she takes the dog. All right, let me make sure. I've got these pretty much flush. That one has a little bit right there. I guess I could clear off. Yeah, so got that taken care of. I tried to go across the road where the Honda place is to see if they could work me in, but they were really busy that day. So, no working in. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and trim this down even more, and I will be back. All right. I think I slivered off about an eighth. And so, as you can see, I've got about an eighth on each side here. Some of them aren't quite as straight, but it's just my first lap book, so we're going to play with it and have fun. Okay, I think it's going to work. Good. All right, so this next portion needs to be attached on the outside here. So I need to take and lay this out. Get everything out of the way. Because I'm going to get in here and I'm going to put my glue right along here and right along here. So, yeah, on our trip, we were trying to find this one Cassidy cemetery. We were trying, never could find it. And then we found out that where my grandparents lived is where these Cassidys lived. I think we found that out actually on the last trip, but we didn't find that much about it. And then we were looking more into it this trip. Oh, good grief. I'm trying to get this on here correctly. And I'll let go. All right. So we had a cemetery that was supposed to be up in there. And the one guy that had already done the Wayne County cemeteries, they don't do them like we do, but they, you know, he gets up there and finds them and stuff. Yeah, I think that's good. So he had listed a cemetery with just a few graves in there. And the thing was, though, he did it in the 90s. And by the early 2000s, they had moved these graves. So they weren't there anymore. So that's one cemetery we didn't have to find. We will probably get in there and we'll mention it, that there was one there. But our buddy Walter is the one that corrected us on that, you know. He's the be-all and end-all of that area. Knows it all. Okay, now see, that's perfect. I'm a little crooked right here. So I think I'll come back in just to make it a little cleaner looking. See, it's stuck out a little further at the bottom than it is at the top. So we're just going to get in here like that. I'm going to trim that down. And it'll get it even. Sometimes you may have to do that once you get it all together, you know. But yeah, we found that out. The Cassidys lived there. Now, weirdly enough, these Cassidys, Crick Cassidy lived there with his son. And then their mother, I think their mother was Nancy. And she lived there as well. And then she went down the road and married a Leonard Markham. Or they lived there. And after they got married, I can't remember which went. But anyhow, those Cassidys were from the Murphy Cemetery. Where I did, in the very, very beginning, I started doing the cemetery books. I did the Murphy Cemetery. It's over in East Kermit. And, yeah. Strangely enough, that was that bunch. It is a small area when you think about it. I mean, to them, it's like the world, you know. They won't even go into the next creek and know who is even living in the next creek. It's odd to us, but that's just the way it is to them. But it was, yeah, I guess that was just where they ended up settling. Okay, let's see if I can get this one here. About right there. This one looks like it's a bit on the bigger side. Or smaller side, I should say. Like I said, I'm going to probably have to get in here somewhere and do some trimming. Alright, so let's do that. Oh, yeah. That one didn't get any glue right there because of... Let's see about this. Yeah. See how the glue was on the outside part? Let's get it in there, like that. And I'll have to do some overall measuring here to figure out where I need to trim. What needs to be trimmed, that kind of thing. Yeah. Is it straight? Nope, it's not straight. So do something before it dries or you'll be up the creek. Okay. I'm trying to get it to where it's straight with the top, as you can see. To make sure it's right on the money. Is that right? I don't know. Okay, I think so. Ooh. So there we go. I think we're good. Now the other thing I need to do is get in here, trim it. See how it's how it's really off? My top seems to be measuring even Steven. So then we have to go to this side. Look at this side. So it's a good thing I measured it a little bit bigger than it was needing to be, you know, tall. So I can get in here and measure it down and get it to be as good as I need it to be. See? Pretty bad. So the only thing I'm going to do now, and I probably won't do it with you guys, but I'm going to put in some of this washi tape on the creases. I don't know if this one's going to do it all. I might have to get another one. But I'm going to use tones like that. Just dark tones. And then I'm going to get in here. And I'm going to do a little bit of inking. And then I'll show you the inking on the next video. Because I'll have panels and things that are going to go in here. I'm going to do the exact kind of outline inking with. I'm kind of running out of breath right now. So I'm going to have to get off of here. I'm still recovering. All right, everybody. Have a great, great day. And I hope you enjoyed the beginning of this lap book. And why don't you do one with me? And we'll just kind of go right along and make some little simple additions to it. And then we'll do some decorating. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming to join me today, all my subscribers and viewers. I really appreciate it. And thank you, thank you. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.